Hey everybody, this is your average suburban transman coming to you live from my home in Atlanta, Georgia. And at this moment, we're going to have a little bit of education because that's really what I do. Educate and create space. And so, here you go. A little bit of LGBT 101. And this is an absolute basic. For those who just struggle with the basics here, it may help you understand where some people are coming from. So, the L, as many people know, stands for lesbian. Girls who like girls, women who like women. Gay can mean boys who like boys, girls who like girls, women who like women, girls who like girls. So depending on the person, like a woman might still say that they're gay. Traditionally, it was actually used for both men and women, but you'll hear it used interchangeably. But like I said, mostly you'll hear gay men. Now, then there's people who are bisexual. Now, I think long ago, before people started talking about trans people too much, bisexual simply meant women or girls who were attracted to women who were attracted to boys and men and women, and vice versa, men who were attracted to women and men. It may be in different ways, but also many bisexual people will say that they're attracted to non-binary people as well. That's not limited by, say, a binary idea of gender. And then we have this word queer, which for older people, queer has had a negative connotation when it's used against you. However, many young people, especially these days, are claiming the identity of queer as an umbrella term for all this stuff. And a lot of people, as far as orientation goes, and like who they like and who they love and who they're physically attracted to, you also have a lot of people who will actually use this term these days of asexual or ace, as you'll sometimes hear. Now, this is all about attraction. Who you like, who you fall in love with, who you might be physically attracted to, or just romantically attracted to. And then there's this idea of pansexual. Pan just means, it's a general term for like all. But it doesn't mean that you're attracted to all people walking on the planet, just like straight people aren't attracted to all people walking on the planet. But you'll often hear the term pansexual defined as, I love people, regardless of their parts. So people, not parts. Pan is great. People, not parts. And this last part here has to do with gender. And that's why it's transgender. And transgender is an umbrella term for people who do not identify with the sex they were assigned at birth, versus somebody who is cisgender, which means same. So trans meaning across. Like, I'm not who you think I am, basically. I'm who I think I am and know I am in my heart. And my parts might not match my heart, and that's okay. Now, this could be somebody who is not binary in that sense, and gender meaning how I feel about myself, what's in my head, not necessarily what's in my parts. And cisgender means somebody who, like your typical female, was born with female parts, identifies as female. Typical male identifies as a man or a boy, no problem, no question. And then this idea of being trans can have lots of different little terms underneath it, all of which are completely valid. And so how you define yourself is entirely up to you. And maybe you'll find the words that describe you. And if you can't find who you are in these basic terms, you can always look up all the flags. Because along with all the LGBTQ plus flags are definitions that describe different identities that are not discussed here, but this is a basic shall we say, primer of LGBT 101. And so this is your average suburban trans man coming to you live from my home in Atlanta, Georgia, and saying thank you for listening. And I hope that you or somebody out there can get something out of this tiny little training, so that if you find yourself with a child or another family member who suddenly comes out to you, yet they've been thinking about it for a long time perhaps, you can be ready with knowledge. And most of all, what you can do when somebody comes out to you is listen and say, thank you. I'm honored that you would share this with me. And what else can I do to be supportive? So keep it very simple. And just like if somebody came to you and said that they had leukemia or that their kid has leukemia, you would try not to say stupid, hurtful things, and you would go do your research. And so if it's your kid or a family member, go do your research, try to process out your feelings with somebody else, and just be the best that you can be, and trust that this person is sharing this with you because they care about you and they want to keep you in their lives. And sometimes it's because they want to stay alive. And for a trans person like me, I knew that regardless of what my parents thought of my transition or what my hopeful wife-to-be thought about my transition, I was transitioning. And that was at age 36, and I was not relying on my parents to fund my life. And so when I've met kids who say, I will not come out until I can support myself, I feel really scared for them because keeping who you are inside for several years can be really dangerous. So we provide that spaces out in the educational world wherever we can. So we'll keep the folks in Florida and many other places in our thoughts. And here in Georgia, they're trying to stop trans kids from playing sports on the team with which they identify, just because a few kids might beat a girl at a sport. Let's think broader than that. And remember, student athlete means student and learning to become a teammate, first of all. Peace. Have a great day, everybody. Please share.